hurry!
Welcome to MomCave Live, where we may have lost our minds, but we haven't lost our sense of humor. I'm Jen, and our guest today is Samantha Reynolds, and she's going to pop on the camera any second. Hi, Samantha.
Hello. Hi, Jen.
Hey. Are you a Sam or a Samantha?
I'm totally a Sam. Yeah, I'll go clean my room if you call me Samantha.
Good. I want it to be like, casual. So I felt like Sam is much more.
Sam's more casual.
Cool. Okay. So, so if you don't know who Sam is, she goes by the nom de plume. Is that how you say it? The nom de plume. The nom de plume. Yeah. It's a very fancy way of saying her writer name is Bent Lily on Instagram. And despite being a mom like the rest of us and having a real job and everything, Sam writes a poem every single day for how many years now?
Well, I can count because my son's 12. So yeah, 12 years.
Holy moly. Okay. There's so much to unpack there, and I can't wait to do it. Janice is saying hello from the Bronx. Hey, hello, Janice. If you have any questions for Sam, just pop them in the comments and I will read them out loud. So, Sam, okay, right. Tell me about when did poetry start?
So I was given advice. I don't know if you remember this, but I was given advice when I was pregnant, like this first year of you being a mom and this first year of your new baby's life, it's so fleeting. Like it's going to just it's, before you know it, it'll be gone. And really it might be hard, but like really try to savor it because, before you know it, this little infant phase will be over. And I was on deck for it. Like I'd been a bit of a yogi. I was ready. I was I'm going to meditate my way through this. I'm really going to be observant.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at you already.
Right?
Go on.
And then, it was, it actually, in some ways he was a pretty good sleeper. Like it wasn't hard in the ways I expected. I know for it to be hard. Mm-hmm. It was just so much more tedious than I expected. And I was really it made me really sad because I was this isn't grueling. It's just kind of boring.
Right.
And then I thought, well, maybe there's another way to, to make the best of this time. Mm-hmm. And for me as a writer, if I'm writing, I'm observing. Mm-hmm. And I thought if I take time to slow down in some ways, rather than just administering to this new little person, maybe there's some wonder, in the mix of kind of all the sameness of day after day.
Yes.
And I thought maybe I'll journal. And then I thought that seems sort of amorphous. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll just write one short poem every day about whatever. And it'll kind of hone my observing instincts again. And it was really beautiful. It was this really and I didn't, and I still don't really put a ton of pressure on myself to, I'm writing a poem every day. So I'm not expecting any one poem to be a Pulitzer Prize winning piece of work. It's just it's a way of being creative. It's a way of noticing the little details that otherwise would just be missed. And it also makes me, see humor in situations that otherwise, I still get irritable, like we all do, but sometimes instead of losing my mind, sometimes I'm this is actually hilarious. And I'm sort of in the moment more.
That's awesome.
So I just kept going. I just never stopped.
I have a lot to say about that. But first I wanted to say, Instagram people, I hear you. They say they can hear me, but not Sam.
Okay.
If you can't hear Sam, she's going to try to adjust something, but if that doesn't work, go over to facebook.com/MomCaveTV, and we're also streaming there. And we're also on YouTube/MomCave.
All right. So I turned my volume back on.
Let's see. Just turn it off.
Instagram. Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
That should work.
We'll see. So first of all, I listened to another interview with you earlier today, to do my homework. And you used a great phrase. You said it helped you find the magical and the mundane. And that is the epitome of motherhood, I got to tell you. Because it feels, the days feel so mundane, but it's also the most magical thing in the world that you have another human that you are raising to be an adult human.
Right.
So that's huge. But okay, Instagram's good now. They're all good.
Okay.
Okay, so we can concentrate on the nitty gritty here. All right. So, when did you? How? This is the question. How did you write a poem every single day, especially in those early times with a baby?
Yeah. So like not very like romantically. So I don't have a quill. I don't have like a beautiful moleskin journal. I have my phone with me like all times basically. And
Right.
so and this is still true, like as I'm going about my day, something will catch my eye and I'll just I have little notes folder in my phone and I'll just write a few things down in my phone. And then for me, I'm a bit of a night owl. And so it was always the longest stretch of sleep was usually at night for the kid. And
Right.
and so I'd put him down and then I would just very ergonomically awkward position. I would just open my laptop wherever I was, sometimes in, his room or wherever. And I would just punch out a poem. And it was really about the act of, I didn't sweat over it. It was
that's amazing.
15 or 20 minutes. It was really the act of, and I didn't share them at all at the beginning either. It was really just I only started sharing them because I needed to be accountable to a friend, my friend Keith, who was create a little blog. And he showed me how to do it. And he was I'll just be I'll check your homework assignment, make sure you go to home every day. So it was just for him as my first reader. And then he was Sam, these are really beautiful. You should. And so he helped me share them a bit more broadly. And then it became this beautiful kind of public expression of creativity and a little bit of I don't share everything. I am mindful that I am writing about my kids and sometimes my husband. And so there's, I share a lot, but I'm mindful not to share absolutely everything, but at least something every day.
Yeah. It's so nice that you make so it's an art form, and a lot of people might have different art forms that they do, not poetry. Maybe someone here paints or knits or whatever you do, dances. So many times when we become a mother, our art form is the first thing to go because nobody thinks of this as essential, right? And you have found a way to keep it, but also I don't have to imagine, like you said, you don't have a quill. When I first heard poet, I'm thinking you're up in a tower somewhere writing angsty things about despair. And motherhood isn't often the most, poetry friendly thing. Everybody kind of thinks again that it's mundane, but you found a way to make this work and to bring this art to your everyday life. So would you mind reading one of your poems for us?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, this one I really identify with, and I must say that her poems are very, very varied. Is that a thing you can say? Very varied in style, in subject, in length. And I picked a couple of short ones that you could check out. The hazards of rushing around. I feel this every day. Would you read that for us?
Yes. So hilariously, I have to lean in because I do not have my glasses. So I'm going to do my best to see if I can actually read this on my screen. It's a short one. The hazards of rushing around. She rushes around, but not like a chicken without a head. She is more efficient and dangerous. This is a train thundering past her own life without a driver.
Nice. I think so many of us can identify with that. We're all rushing around, and there's not only does it make you exhausted, crazy, stressed out, and feel like you're failing in everything. When I say you, I mean me, everyone. It makes me feel that way, but there's also this power in it sometimes too. Well, I'm rushing around because I am doing all the things and I am doing them. It sucks, but they're getting done. And I'm the person in charge of the doing of all the things. Right. So there's a power in that. Which I think you captured.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there is, I'm like mindful of making sure the poem in some ways isn't one more item on my to-do list. Like that's the other piece. And so for me, I guess the other aspect of this is that the poem is, I do love to write. And so, and the act of creating something every day is really, it is really fulfilling. It's a part of my identity. I really enjoy it. But the way that it kind of torques my way of being in a day to be more observant is actually the point. Like that is the point. And that's not really that's like blissfully not an item on a to-do list that gets checked off. It's to kind of, like I'm no Zen master, like going about my life in like, harmony with everything. But it raises my frequency, like even a little, so that I am just like less brittle in the world and more in it. It is, because otherwise, I also run a company, life is busy. And so I don't want the poem to fall prey to that kind of hazards of rushing around, I guess.
Social media is full of young, gorgeous women giving makeup tutorials. I guarantee you they've never tried putting their face on with a baby on one boob and another kid shooting Nerf guns at them. Moms want to look great too, but we just don't have the time or the energy to put all that effort into it. Meet Mommy Makeup. Yep, it's a thing. Mommy Makeup's motto is clean beauty for busy women. Take advantage of their free color consultation program. Send in your selfie and which products interest you, and Mommy Makeup will reply back with shade suggestions and a $10 gift card to use towards your order. MommyMakeup.com/free color consultation. Promo code MomCave for 20% off your first order. Start your mommy makeup journey today, or as soon as the kids go to bed. Right. I love to picture you writing the poem on different days. So a quiet day, a day where you're like, oh my God, my eyes are closing. I'm going to fall asleep, but I want to write the poem. I want to do it. I like to picture that. I have a question about what is the weirdest like place or circumstance that you were in and wrote the poem? Like you didn't have something to write on and you wrote it somewhere, or you're in a bizarre location and you had to do your poem.
Oh, I would say, good question. I wrote a poem. This is a little bit, so I wrote a poem when I really should have been listening to a speaker, which feels like a bad thing to do because I also am a speaker, and I would be really insulted if someone was like multitasking. But I did do that, like furtively, like at the table. Let's see. I have written a lot of poems. So the bathroom is the only room in our house that locks.
Yes.
So I've like pretended to need to use the bathroom.
That's
many
classic.
times. Yeah, classic when I totally haven't. Yeah, written many poems written in our bathroom. As the kids get older too, and like they fall asleep later than I do sometimes. So I have less of that like sacred time at night, quiet time. So yeah, bathroom poems. Have I written a poem in a public bathroom? Maybe.
I think you should compile a book of just called bathroom poems, just the bathroom ones.
Totally. There are poems about bathroom things too, like, there's lots of poems about
that brings me to something I wanted to ask you about, because on MomCave, we never shy away from bathroom things. We have tons.
Nor should we, right?
Nor should we. We have videos about and all of it. And again, you guys, if you want to comment and ask Sam a question of your own, please throw it in the comments. I'm watching them. I heard that you wrote a poem about your son's fascination and demanding to see a used tampon.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the poem here, or I'd make you like act it out and do some artistic dance. And what's it called? Interpretive, whatever. But
interpretive tampon dance?
Yeah, interpretive tampon dancing would definitely go over our mom.
Next time. Totally.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So every once in a while, like I try to be, honest in what I write about. But I'm a bit of a people pleaser. And so I don't love and I really don't. I have the nicest community of readers, so I really don't get the hate back ever. But I was I wonder if I'm going to get judged if I share this.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of the moments that I wrote a poem about, and then I really did deliberate, should I share this, or will people really slag me?
Right.
And it was basically that my son, God, he would have been 7 or something at the time. And I was behind our locked bathroom door, changing my tampon. And he asked if he could come in. And I was like, no, Books, I'm busy. I've got my period and I need a moment. And he was like, well, can I see it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, why wouldn't I say yes to this? Am I ashamed? Is it weird? Is it too intimate? Is it inappropriate? Right. Or is it actually the wrong thing to cultivate in him, a disgust about something that's totally natural? And so I had 40,000 thoughts going on at once. And then I was like, I'm just gonna go with my instinct here, and I'm gonna show it to him. And I did. And he was, it's written in the poem. Yeah, no, he was really, he kind of matter of fact was like, oh, it sort of looks like a happy not dog.
It sort of does.
I was like, fair. And then he was like, just moving along with his, he asked to see something. I showed it to him. He processed it, moved along. And then I shared the poem in the end. And it was such a beautiful moment because I got this swell of just thanks for sharing that. And that was what an awesome moment. And I got none of what I was afraid of, which was you're a disgusting person. And you should be locked away. I got none of that.
You must have the best followers ever because I get a little of that every once in a while. Yes. But I think you did the right thing because you don't want to hide things from children. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You don't want them to have a sense of gross shameness about something that's so natural, right? Yeah. My mom was really good about that. I don't remember learning about a lot of the first time having a talk because she was always just so open, which some of my friends think is weird and disgusting, but it worked. It worked for us.
Yeah.
Someone we have Ronnie saying, I love that kids don't have the same cultural social judgments that adults do. That is very true.
Hi, Ronnie.
Right, they're taught that thing. And I had a comment up on the screen. I'll put it up again. This is the URL if you wanted to find the poem about a tampon. I kind of love saying that. So check it out. I had a moment in public like that with my son, and he was 3 or 4. And we were in a very crowded CVS in Manhattan. There was a line of people behind me, probably 20 people behind me. And we're checking out at the checkout. And I had 3 items. And one of them happened to be a box of tampons. And as I pushed it towards the cashier, my child said in the loudest voice possible to the cashier, "They're for her butt." And I was like, well, close. Not exactly, but he did. And the people were laughing, and it was humiliating, but also now one of my favorite memories of my son, because to him, it wasn't anything to be embarrassed about. It was kind of interesting to him. Wow.
Right.
Something for your butt. Yes. Later you can educate them to the exact.
Yeah. That reminds me of my son when I was pregnant with my daughter. He would have also been about 3, and I put on a healthy amount of weight. I was pregnant, and he saw me getting into the shower, and he looked at me kind of from behind, and he was like, "Mama, are you also pregnant in your bum?" Okay. No, not. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks that way.
It's a fair question, but yeah.
Different thing, kid. Yeah, totally. We have a question for you from Michaela. Do your kids enjoy your poems? Do you have a favorite kid or poem, Michaela? I think she means poem. They like me to sometimes
read my poems when they have friends over, like
Oh.
poems that are about them.
That's sweet.
Yeah, which is super sweet. And they feel, I think they're 12 and 9 right now. So they still feel kind of like a bit excited and honored, I think, when like I write a poem about them. And they'll sometimes be like, oh, Mom, that's total poem moment. And I'm like, maybe, like, I actually don't know always what's going to come out. And I don't, like I said, I try not to sweat over it, because like I really wouldn't get it done if I like made it a big, like, what should I write about today? So sometimes they're like, oh, like that was classic. And you like, that didn't morph into a poem, and they feel a bit insulted, but, yeah. So for now, I'm aware, you know, as they like move into their teenage years, you know, they might come down and just say like, no more poems about me. And that's okay. Like they for sure. And I share some photos, you know, on my Instagram, of them, because again, the community of Bentley readers just seems to, they kind of just love getting to know us as a family, I think, a little bit, without it being any weird sort of reality poetry weirdness.
Not like the Kardashians do poetry.
Yeah, we're like so not that like edgy or interesting, but yeah, they may decide they don't want me to write about them, and that will be okay. The question of do I have a favorite poem? I don't. I have the poem that's behind me. It's not necessarily my favorite poem. I do love it, but it's meaningful to me. It doesn't have anything to do with parenting, but it's meaningful because so many people have just done really beautiful things with it. Like it was made into a short film. Many, like countless people have read it, asked for permission to read it at funerals, and
wow,
like just really like weepy, bawling, ugly cry experiences. I'm like,
what is that one called, so I can read it afterwards?
Oh yeah, it's called I Am Not Old.
Oh my God, I need to read that right away. That's great. That's lovely. I have another short one of yours. Oh, you have a lovely person who's putting, Shala's putting all of the URLs of the poems. So that's where you can find I Am Not Old. Okay, thank you. I'm going to check that one out.
Shaw's the designer. If anyone,
yeah,
she does all the artwork for all my poems, and not only that, she posts everything for me online. And I couldn't do any public poetry without her. She's
amazing. If you go and look at Sam's Instagram account, you know, it's not just a blank space with some words on it. They're all designed with this beautiful artwork, and now we know that Shala did it, and they're great. Would you be able to read this one, or is it too small for you?
Yeah, I think I made this one in a Word doc with like 18.
Ooh, you're so smart.
I know,
smart.
Right? Let me see if I can. Okay, I'm going to go away from the screen, but I think it'll work. Okay, growing pains. My son looked at his feet today as though the long slabs of skin and bone had stretched beneath him overnight. And he said, with tears at the edge of his voice, "Mama, I'm getting so big, but my soul still feels so small."
That's lovely.
Little goose.
That's so lovely. And that, you know, that bittersweetness of they're getting older, but they're still our children.
And they, I think, still feel, I know my kids, like, they're wistful for being little.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they're stretching almost past their
what they're ready for,
inner age or something. Like their inner age feels littler than their height. I don't know.
Well, I feel that way. I don't know about you, but like I don't inside. I'm more the person I was at like 12. I mean, I feel like that's when I don't know. It just does. And so sometimes you look around and you're like, oh my God, I'm the grown up here now, you know, I'm in charge, but we are who we are. That's amazing. I had another, this is a question I wanted to ask you, and I hope you'll be honest.
Yeah.
Of course. You're so honest all the time. You tell me about the tampons. Stop. Have you ever missed a day and had to write 2 poems the next day?
Yes, totally.
Okay, good. Thank God. Because if you
Yeah.
said no, I was going to be like, I don't know if I can live up to it.
So what I do, I'm a little type A, and also like I feel like if I give myself permission to miss, then like it'll be like a slippery slope and I'll stop. So
Mhm.
what I do is I do like like the scrappiest version, which truly might be like, you know, like one sentence. Like
Right.
it's like the start of something, and it's just yeah, like I've fallen asleep before for sure, right? And gotten up and been like, I don't have it in me to like really like re-alert myself. But like I'm just like, and like a little scrap comes out, and then it's like, okay, I've documented
done
something.
something.
Yeah.
And that's like so many things, you know. If you can just do a little bit of it, at least you tried that day. If you're trying to do something on a daily basis, I used to dance all growing up, and a few years ago, I started taking ballet again. And then during the pandemic, I started being like, I'm going to do Zoom ballet every day. And I have done some kind of ballet every day since then, but sometimes it's literally like, 2 minutes, hurry up, get on the floor and stretch. And then some days it's the whole class, but at least I'm like, okay, I did something. I made a forward movement. So, and that applies to things like decluttering your house, all the stuff we do every day, right? Just make like a little movement. A little bit.
Yeah. For sure.
I think you're a very interesting person, and I wish you lived next door. And I'm going to be reading your posts every day from now on. You guys, you can find Sam. Her Instagram name is Bent Lily, like the flower. And that's also your website, I believe. Is it bentlily.com? You can go to bentlily.com to learn more about her. There's merch. There's like shirts and things you can buy with these beautiful poems on them. And I would have read more and more, but I don't want people to be bored of me online. But I had a bunch that I loved. So thank you for talking with me. You guys go check out bentlily.com and be inspired that even if you're exhausted, even if you're fed up, you can do a little bit of something for you today.
Yeah. And thanks for just being so funny, Jen. Laughing is, it's kind of everything. So often it's everything. And a beautiful gift. So thanks.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys. And of course, I'm Jen from MomCave, MomCaveTV.com, and at MomCave on all the places. And I don't write poems every day. I do try to do like a YouTube short or a TikTok or an Instagram or Facebook reel every day. And so you can check those out. And thank you. It's good to talk to you. Okay. Bye, everybody.